Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker Tools. Tonight we are going to be discussing $99 impact drivers that you can currently get on sale. So let's jump right into that on Tinker with Tools. So in the past I've had a couple of different videos where we feature $99 drills, but we've never touched on the companion to that, which is the $99 impact driver. So tonight we're going to be discussing three that you can currently get in a kit form for $99 that I think are actually pretty good values. So the first one we're talking about is the DCF 840. This is the $99 impact driver kit that is currently being offered at Lowe's. Now, at that $99 price point with DeWalt, you do not get any sort of modes on this impact driver, and in that kit, you do just get two 1.5 amp hour batteries. These are going to be the smallest batteries we talk about. Now, the 1.5 amp hour battery from DeWalt, it is still a 20 volt battery, but it's just not a great battery in my opinion. There is no battery gauge on it, so you can't tell how much juice is in it. This just feels like one of the ways that they might be cheaping out a little bit to go with that smaller capacity battery. Getting two batteries is nice. There is a kit we're going to talk about tonight where you only get a single battery, but having two batteries, one can be on the charger, one can be on your tool working. I just don't think you're going to be getting the top performance for this tool on that battery. So with that being said, when we do the testing tonight, we are going to be testing each of these tools on the battery they come with, but then also as we get into the bigger stuff, we're going to be testing on another battery that I would recommend running the tool with. In this case, we're going to be talking about the DeWalt PowerStack 1.7 amp hour. All right, next one is a Makita tool that we actually picked up today. I had another video planned and the tool that I was going to be reviewing, so we had to go out and get something else to kind of make this a little more interesting. The tool I went with is the Makita XDT 13. Now, Makita makes a lot of impact drivers, and I've tested a lot of impact drivers, but this is the most basic impact driver that I've tested from them. This has no speed modes, kind of like that DCF 840, but power-wise, this is going to be down a little bit compared to that of these other tools that I'm going to talk about tonight. But I wanted to see how it would stack up against the other $99 because Makita's impacts never have specs that rival that, in my opinion, of bigger, badder impact drivers, but they're still nice to use, and to some degree, the niceness of Makita outweighs some of the power components, in my opinion. Now, in this kit, you do get a single 3 amp hour battery. Now, a 3 amp hour battery is obviously going to have more runtime than that of those 1.5s. It is a double stack battery, so it's not very compact. When you start comparing it to the premium battery we'll do for Makita, Makita's LXT doesn't have a lot of options when it comes to batteries. There's not a whole lot of difference weight-wise when it comes to this battery. You do get a battery gauge on the back of the tool, so that is kind of nice. And overall with Makita, I think you're getting well-built tools, but let's go ahead and see, is the power going to be noticeably deficient in this tool? And now, the oldest model entry that we're going to be putting into here is going to be the beloved Metabo HPT triple hammer. This is their 18 volt model of this tool. Right now you can get it in kitted form at Lowe's for $99 with two 3 amp hour batteries. These are their 18 volt old style 3 amp hour batteries that you're seeing it with right now, not the new style ones that do have a battery gauge. This is a single row of cells, so it is still a compact battery, but with these old style, there is no battery gauge on them. That is a downside in my opinion. Now, this is not the latest and greatest triple hammer by any means. This is actually a little bit of an older tool, but there's something about it that is just nice about this tool. It just operates well in my opinion. All right, so those are the three tools we're going to be talking about tonight. So as I mentioned, we're going to be testing them on their standard kit battery that they do come with, but then we also be testing them with some more premium batteries. Let's go ahead and do the testing now, and then we'll come back here for my opinions of them and some conclusions and just kind of which one I'd recommend you buy if you were spending your money right now. On that. All right, so you'll have the official times on those results. I will not yet. So I'm going to be speaking more of what I felt during the testing. So as it came down to it, one thing painfully clear, the 1.5 amp hour battery of the DeWalt, on smaller fasteners, I don't think you're necessarily going to notice it very much. But if you move up to anything bigger than like a 3-inch deck screw, you're going to start to notice it quite bad with this tool. Best serve upgrading the battery is one of the things you do with this. But if you're using this to get your foot in the door, decide if you like DeWalt tools, I think this is a great starting point. This tool is more powerful, in my opinion, than necessarily what they state. It bested the 845 when I did testing their new XR impact driver. If this had modes and the performance like this, you might be able to convince me that this is the top DeWalt impact driver. Now, you'll hear people say that because it's not XR, it's not meant to take the abuse day in and day out. But if you can get over the fact that it doesn't have the speed modes, this is a really great impact driver. And at that price point, it is an absolute steal, in my opinion. Makita. So this is the first time, like I said, that I have gone with a non-premium impact driver from Makita. When it comes down to it, the big thing about Makita, in my opinion, is going to be ergonomics and trigger feel. Those two are still very much present in this tool. The trigger isn't quite as light and just snappy as what I would say you're going to be getting from, say, an XDT 16, 19, or going up to some of the 40 volt options. For $99 though, you are getting a large capacity battery, although it's not a compact one, and you are getting that with a battery gauge, and the fit and finish of Makita is quite nice. This still is a quick insert collet, and I think that is pretty good. I don't have any issues with that. Power-wise, this one did fill down on power. On smaller fasteners, I think it works great. If you're buying this to do larger, lags type screws or structural bolts or things like that, I don't think this is the impact driver for you. But it is a comfortable, nice to use impact driver. All right, now going back to the oldest tool that I've got here on the table, that is going to be that triple hammer. I've always loved this tool. I long wanted to try it when I was first getting into tools because I'd see people using it and raving about it. But at this point, this is an older tool. It has been around for quite some time. The other downside, in my opinion, to this tool is going to be that the collet is not a quick insert collet. I don't really love the ergonomic placement of the side control panel here. This is something they've tried and now since gone back to the placement on the bolt where it's going to be kind of the more traditional style. That's one of the biggest differences for me in this tool is power and performance. It seems to kind of nail it, but some of the fit and finish just doesn't quite add up. And even on their newer tools, they're still not putting a quick insert collet, and that just kind of feels like it's stuck in an older time, in my opinion, where you're paying premium dollars for some of those newer ones and not getting it. Now at $99 for two 3 amp hour batteries and the charger and this tool, that is a really great bargain. Tonight, I don't know that the testing, especially on those bigger lags, really stood out above the DCF 840 necessarily. It kind of did some weird things where it would be driving in really fast. You'd hear kind of a little click, and then the tool would just kind of go a little bit slower that last little bit. I know Torque Test Channel's done extensive testing on this tool and seen that when it gets under some higher torque situations, you know, they've done the cutaways to show that it's actually skipping and not always hitting with that triple hammer. I do think on smaller fasteners, though, this is the tool to beat out of these three. It is worth the $99 there. If you're talking about which one of these three I would recommend you go out and get today, I think the number one spot for me goes to the DeWalt, but with a big caveat that I would not run it with those 1.5 amp hour batteries. The power stack is something that DeWalt has. The sweet spot for this power stack is that you're getting premium battery size, big battery performance in a very compact package. And so as long as you don't need the extended duration runtime that those bigger batteries give you, you can really unleash this tool at a very compact size. It really keeps the weight of this tool down. This is a light impact driver, and I think you really do notice that with it. So that kind of gets the top spot for me. The next one, and it's a close second, would be that of the Metabo HPT triple hammer. At the end of the day, there's just a couple of things with it that just don't jive, and I think this one is a little bit nicer to use, even though I think this one is actually the more premium impact driver. Now the Makita gets a third place here, and I don't want that to come across like this Makita is a bad impact driver, but what you're getting for the ergonomics does not meet up with the power and performance of these other two. And it's not like these are bad tools ergonomically. So even though this one is a very comfortable, well-balanced impact driver to use, I just don't think that it is the star of this video necessarily. And so for that reason, it gets third place. There you have it. That's kind of the order I would rank these in. Obviously, the performance figures are going to let you determine if one of these is the right one for you. But overall, I think performance-wise, they're fairly even matched, with the Makita just falling a little bit behind. If you have a $99 impact driver that you would like to see tested at some point on this channel, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. Until next time, though, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.